Man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And the neck can make the head move whatever way she wants. And I just was like, exactly.
This picture was a choice, a willful choice, just like with everything else that was done. A massive spectacle, glamour, fireworks, everything. Who is she really, and why does she look different in 2007 Notre Dame Preparatory High School yearbook?
Yeah. I put out a show years ago, Giving Life to Lucifer, where I talked about the fact that these black mirrors, they're described as something that you channel energy through these sigils, and they show you the future and the past, anything you need to know about the future and the past, answer all your questions for you. When you look at the sigils, the ancient sigils, you can go onto Google and you can look at demonic sigils. You can find them yourselves in Google Images. And you'll see that a lot of them, really when you look at them, they look like circuit diagrams. They look like a modern circuit diagram of a computer or something, or a cell phone. So what happens when you funnel demonic energy, electricity, through these sigils, through these pieces of circuitry, and your black mirror beams into life and tells you everything you need to know about the future and the past. Why is it like a mirror? See, that's a mirror. Your phone is like a mirror, you know? Why do the legends of the scrying mirrors and the black mirrors and these sigils exist if cell phones did not exist before? If none of these technologies knew, you know? And if they can do this is the thing, you know, if they can do it, they will do it, which means they already have. And the question is, how many layers down the fractal are we already, if that's the case? You know, so there's all that stuff to consider. But I think, like when you look at the old world and all this sort of stuff, the scrying mirrors exist. This is the Lucifer system. That's what Lucifer is, the bearer of light. It's the internet. We give all of our stuff to it. And when it gets to the point, like I said, where they take everything away from you, the only way you can interact with life or your friends or anything that you know to be real is by using their system, then they've got you. They've got you in the mainframe. You know, it's about a soul harvest. They want to corral all these people and they want to force you into their mainframe system. Don't give up your soul. Don't give up. Don't step outside your moral compass to do what you're told. Screw them. Do what you want to do. Be the best you can be at being you. That's what you came here to do.
Two different volcanoes just erupted on the same exact day on opposite sides of the planet, and the footage that is coming out right now is absolutely insane. Dude, this literally just happened. One of the most active volcanoes on Earth just cracked open in the Indian Ocean. They're saying that 4 different fissures ripped through the surface with lava pouring out at 60 cubic meters per second. 87 hikers had to be airlifted off the summit by helicopter, and some of them were just 30 meters from the lava fountains whenever it blew. And right now, they're saying that the lava flow is approaching the main highway on the island. At the same exact time, thousands of miles away on the other side of the planet, Mount Semeru in a place called East Java shot a column of ash 1 kilometer straight up into the sky. Dude, this thing has been going off with 7 different eruptions in 3 different hours with 100 explosions recorded and detected in a single day. These 2 different volcanoes actually have nothing to do with each other. They're not related at all. One of them sits on a volcanic hotspot in the Indian Ocean, and then the other one sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire. These are completely different systems. They just both erupted on the same day. These volcanoes are going off right now, and the footage is obviously insane. I'll keep you updated as more comes out.
Shaky, I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. No, it's good. You're gonna be good. It's a good look.
Leave room for the Holy Ghost. Yeah, a lot of it's memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll. And as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle.
This is unreal. I'm supposed to start talking. I'm sorry, I'm sick. On behalf of this fearless and talented cast, we would like to thank, it's so heavy. We'd like to thank Netflix, Sean, Matt, Ross, and the amazing casting director, Carmen Cuba. And I would just like to say that in light of all that's going on in the world today, it's difficult to celebrate the already celebrated Stranger Things. But this award from you, who take your craft seriously and earnestly believe, like me, that great acting can change the world, is a call to arms from our fellow craftsmen and women to go deeper, and through our art to battle against fear, self-centeredness, and exclusivity of our predominantly narcissistic culture, and through our craft to cultivate a more empathetic and understanding society by revealing intimate truths that serve as a forceful reminder to folks that when they feel broken and afraid and tired, they are not alone. We are united in that we are all human beings, and we are all together on this horrible, painful, joyous, exciting, and mysterious ride that is being alive. Now, as we act in the continuing narrative of Stranger Things, we 1983 Midwesters will repel bullies. We will shelter freaks and outcasts, those who have no homes. We will get past the lies. We will hunt monsters. And when we are at a loss amidst the hypocrisy and the casual violence of certain individuals and institutions, we will, as per Chief Jim Hoffa, punch some people in the face when they seek to destroy.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try
Our first caress.
because you got to understand that imperfection is perfection, because a lot of things was made on accident. A lot of things that we use right now was accident, right? A lot of people gargle use Listerine, but Listerine wasn't for the mouth, it was for the floor.
What the hell?
They use it on the floor for it. They clean the floor with it.
Use what?
Listerine.
What?
They clean the floor. A lot of people don't know this. This is true. They clean the floor with it, and now they put it in their mouth.
Wow.
I'm just keeping it real, right? Yeah, but it's a mistake. No, it's all good. It was a mistake to put it on the floor.
Something else
it belonged in the mouth.
We used it today. But what was your point? You saying imperfections?
Yeah, it was a mistake to put it on the floor. It belonged in the mouth. No, I'm keeping it real, right? Because we didn't know what to do with tea was hot, and they got it cold on accident. Some ice and they got it cold on accident. He came to sell hot tea, and it was hot where he was at. He losing all his money. He trying to put ice in it, and up liked it.
Wow.
Or tater chips. Accident. Listen, tater chips was up. Nigga was ordering some potatoes from a restaurant. Different restaurant was like, made him mad. He ordered some more, like, no, these are too soggy. So he went and cut them in small pieces and tried to fry them real hard and give them to him like that.
He
loved them. And everybody else loved them. Now they put
World Trade Center. That's the same thing. What is that? It's over there.
When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, a promise was made. NATO would not advance even 1 inch to the east. But the opposite happened. In 1994, President Bill Clinton officially signed documents authorizing NATO's eastward expansion, all the way to Ukraine and Georgia. In 1999, the first wave of expansion began. Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic were added. Russia was deeply displeased, but these countries were still far from its borders. Then in 2004, a second wave brought in Romania, Bulgaria, Slovenia, and Slovakia. At this point, Russia was furious. In 2007, President Putin said, "Stop, enough." But in response, in 2008, the United States pressured Europe into pushing NATO expansion toward Ukraine and Georgia, directly on Russia's doorstep. Russia objected, because if Russia had decided to place a military base along the Rio Grande or the Canadian border, America wouldn't just have panicked. War would have broken out within 10 minutes. And within a month, a war did begin, one that devastated Georgia. In 2010, Viktor Yanukovych was elected on a platform of neutrality. Russia had no territorial ambitions in Ukraine, none. What Russia was negotiating was simply a 25-year lease for the Sevastopol naval base. That was all. Not Crimea, not Donbass, nothing more. In 2014, the United States actively worked to remove Yanukovych from power. From December 2021 through January 2022, one of the central questions in negotiations was this: does the United States claim the right to deploy missile systems inside Ukraine? Blinken told Lavrov that the United States reserves the right to place missile systems wherever it chooses. And that is how the war began. What was Putin's actual goal? To pressure President Zelensky into agreeing to a neutrality deal. And within 7 days of the invasion, that agreement was almost reached, but Ukraine unilaterally stepped back from the nearly finalized deal. Why? Because the United States told them to. The plan was to use Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, and Georgia to block Black Sea access and strip Russia of its international standing. And American senators called it an excellent use of their money because no Americans were dying. A pure proxy war. In this geopolitical chess match, after the door to peace negotiations was shut, nearly 1 million Ukrainians have since lost their lives or been permanently disabled forever. How America forced Russia to invade Ukraine.
I know that I don't look 98. I know that my talk is not like 98.
Who's this? Ah! Who is this lady right here? Because people are saying that she could possibly not be one of us. She said that she knows that she doesn't look 98. But people are saying that she looks like she's older than that, like way older than that. Something's going on with this video, and people are trying to say that she's someone or something that she's not. I mean, we all do age, right? We all get wrinkles the older we get, right? But something is going on with this lady, allegedly. This is what people are saying. I seen the video and I said, let me just talk about this because I don't think there's nothing wrong with this lady. She looks perfectly fine. She's an older lady. I don't know about this, guys. Shut up! I don't know where she came from or who she is. But because she does look older than 98. People are saying that she doesn't look like one of us. She is one of us. You know why? Because this video is for entertainment purposes only. Guys, stop playing around. This is a normal lady that's just older than us. I don't know who she is and where she came from. Let me know if you know. Yo, I don't know nothing.
I have this lady that gives me tuggy.
Okay.
I pay, it's like $25, and I get jobs.
Right.
And the thing is,
That's a good price.
Is that considered cheating if you have a significant
Yes.
other?
What?
Happy ending from a massage parlor. Like, would mom be upset?
You can call her.
You want to ask mom?
Oh my God, wait, you're like actively married.
Actively.
Yeah. I've been
And you're
married
getting
for like
tuggies?
48 years.
Oh, and if you're seeing...
We are not only seeing that Howie Mandel is an awful, awful husband, we're about to see how he is an awful human being and father, because this isn't it.
Wait, I like just realized you grew up with him.
I did. It
As
wasn't
your
like
dad.
this. It wasn't good. It wasn't fun.
Oh.
Well, you weren't fun.
You weren't fun.
You were
stopped
a bitch. You were a bitch. Sorry.
So if Howie Mandel's daughter ends up in a emotional abusive or mentally abusive relationship, I would not be surprised. Not only does he cheat on his wife of 48 years, but he verbally degrades his daughter. The fact that he is so open and so proud about it tells me all that I need to know about his character. Literally what an awful human being. To me, this is worse than the celebrities who make dolls that look like Lily Tino with blonde hair for their children because they're not spending any time with them. I could imagine that Howie Mandel, for some reason, some shape or form, has been full of himself his entire life. I always thought you were a weirdo. Now I just think that you are a horrible.
Bien.
Un
El
acierto.
rojo es el otro que... El rojo va aquí.
0 acierto.
Bien. Vamos bien.
Bien.
Sí, porque estoy haciendo un descartamiento.
Un acierto.
Un acierto quiere decir que es el fucsia. Ahí.
0 acierto.
El fucsia.
Un acierto.
El azul. El fucsia va aquí. Escucha, un acierto.
Un acierto.
El fucsia. No me muevas el fucsia.
Y aquí es el rojo.
No me muevas ni el fucsia ni el naranja. Eso si tú quieres mueve, pero el fucsia y el naranja son aciertos. Pero... No, esto no me va. 1. Esto no me lo muevas. No me lo...
3 aciertos.
Este y el rojo. Fucsia, el naranja y el rojo aquí.
0 acierto.
No se está equivocando. Él a veces se equivoca.
Él.
Sí,
No sé, no es
pero
tú.
Síguele. No, el jurado, pero tú dale. No le pongas cuidado. Tú solo escúchame a mí. Estos dos no lo muevas.
¿Cuáles dos?
Estos dos. Desde un principio yo sé que estos son aciertos.
Un acierto.
El rojo va aquí. Un acierto. Es este el acierto. Ahorita que dice 0, mira.
0 acierto.
No sabe. Pero tú juegas. No sabe.
¿Vengo yo?
Sí, pero es para que no me muevas esto.
¿Cuál?
Esto no me lo muevas.
Pero ya ves que yo quiero jugar.
Sí, pero es que tú me estás dañando la jugada a mí también.
Yo quiero jugar para allá.
No puedes porque esto es un acierto, dijo él, lo dijo hace ratico.
Ahí. 3 aciertos. ¿Viste? Pero ¿por qué le echas
Porque no sabe, el jurado no sabe. Así déjamelo.
Un acierto.
El fucsia y el naranja, yo siempre lo dije. Te vas a caer tú solito. Te vas a caer tú solito. No estás jugando bien.
¿Cómo así?
Vas a perder. No. Te dije aquí el naranja y aquí el fucsia.
Yo creo que vas a
No, ahí no va. Voltéalo. Aquí va el fucsia. No, aquí va el fucsia.
¿Así?
Sí.
¡Ay! 5 aciertos.
This is a prison here inside of El Salvador, and each and every single person you see right now in this video are prisoners, and they made this factory so that way they can now use this factory to create new clothes, one for the prisoners, for the schools, for the government themselves, the hospitals, anything they need, they can now use it and make it here inside of El Salvador versus having to go get it from a country like the United States or China, helping create a more self-sufficient El Salvador. And each and every single day that a prisoner is working here inside of this factory, they then get 2 days taken away from their sentence. So imagine you have 10 years on your sentence, and by working in here, you can get your sentence reduced all the way down to 5 years. Technically, if you work for 5 years inside of this prison, you are then gonna get your time cut in half. every single day you work inside of one of the systems they have here set in El Salvador. It is actually pretty amazing. And what price would you personally pay on 2 extra days of your life? Imagine you are sentenced to 10 years in prison. By working in a place like this, you can then get 5 years of your life back, and you can learn a new skill while you're at it. Obviously, it's not ideal to be a prisoner. However, here in El Salvador, they are helping the prisoners rehabilitate themselves into society, helping them be able to get a new job if they were to decide to go in fields like this when they're done with their time here in El Salvador. Nayib Bukele is really changing the country here in El Salvador. It is quite.
Sometimes she just wants to speak to the manager, and other times she lets the fangs come out and wants to rule the world with an iron fist.
Well, Karen can't speak to the manager, so she throws a temper tantrum, and now the employee's like, you want to speak to the manager? I just promoted myself to manager. Now you can speak to my hands, and you can speak to some open hand slaps. Karen now crying victim like, oh my God, well, what the hell did you expect?
So do me a huge favor and give a warm round of a welcome for our special guest today, Karen, in today's episode entitled Karen's Gone Rabid, here on Coffee and Justice.
Welcome to an all-inclusive resort here in Jamaica where Karen just lost her damn mind and threw her drink. And now she's going to deal with the final boss for her efforts, tries to swing with the sign, but it's not good enough because now she has unleashed a beast. Her friend Nadine takes a shot to the dome. My God, this is an unbelievable moment. Well, there's nothing worse than dollar White Claw specials at the casino because the Karens seem to come out, and you can see this lady continue to antagonize her. She's like, can I hit her yet? Being very polite, probably could have knocked her ass out a long time ago. This goes on for several minutes. The lady showed a lot of self-restraint, especially with Karen and her hot, sour breath up in her face. Throws another shot and booyah right to the cheek. And Karina's pissed off. They ran out of Parmesan chicken sandwiches and now taking it out and wants to speak to the manager, but she says, you can't speak to the manager. And Miguel tries to stop it, and Miguel says, no, you can't speak to it, but you can speak to my freaking Hot Pocket fist. And it appears Karina's getting back to her feet. It's an innocent employee just standing there. And my God, I have no idea what is in that Parmesan chicken sandwich to make a person act out like this. Now here's the manager. She's actually talking to the manager. And it appears everything has calmed down. She has a couple words. She says, smell my fingers. And another fight breaks out. Have no idea. I'll leave that up to the experts in the comments that know everything to tell me what's going on. But my God, a little bit of tag team action going on, and with the takedown. And let's take a look. Actually, let's not take a look. That whole thing was in slow-mo. Escorting some violent drunks out the door, and Karen tries to get involved, and Karen ends up taking a right cross to the dome. And now crying like the Karen she is, her husband tries to get involved.
You have no self-respect. Your mother raised you right. You know why your mother raised you right? Because you
And Karen gets a taste of Chaz's hands. How about we just keep our hands to ourselves in the first place and avoid situations like this? Yelling at Chaz about his parents not raising him right when she should be bitch slapping her parents, and instead Chaz does the job her parents should have done years ago. Karen showing her ignorance, thinking she can just put her hands on everybody and think there's going to be no retaliation. Well, think again. Chaz's hands are ready to eat for everyone.
Undertaken a significant amount of work to prepare for the possible use of vaccinations to protect some of Australia's most vulnerable native birds from the H5 bird flu. We've secured suitable vaccines and undertaken trials and pilots so that if vaccination was needed, that Australia would be ready. Today I can announce that the first vaccines are expected to roll out in coming days and weeks, based on an agreed national approach to the targeted vaccination of priority native bird species. This approach will mean that the states and territories are able to commence vaccination activities. The priority species will be identified based on vulnerability to the H5 bird flu and the potential conservation impact, informed as always by scientific advice. We've been very clear that we cannot stop the H5 bird flu from spreading amongst wild birds, but we can take action to protect the species most at risk, and the vaccination is now part of that response. This work has been backed by our investment of almost $2 million into vaccines and trials as part of the $113 million in funding that supported preparedness and response capabilities. And I want to be clear, as I said last week, and we have been abundantly clear, that Australians should expect to see more spread and larger numbers, particularly of dead birds and mass mortalities around the country from the H5 bird flu. We have been very clear that this will continue to spread across the country.
This is a huge deal. For the first time in human history, the Arctic shipping route is open. And there are 2 countries that have been waiting for this moment for decades. You see, today, this 35,000-ton Chinese vessel will become the first scheduled cargo ship ever to use the Arctic shipping route. And if successful, this shortcut will halve the normal 40-day Suez Canal route, saving billions of dollars and ushering the world into a new era of trade. So you're probably wondering, how come we've never used this before? 2 reasons: ice and Russia. Now, the first problem is being partly removed 10 years earlier than projected due to rising sea temperatures and melting ice. However, the Russia problem remains because all of this is disputed waters. It's gonna be a fun next few years. Russia claims it's theirs while the US and other Western countries say otherwise. But that's not a problem if your name's China. In fact, their historic voyage today was only made possible thanks to Russian nuclear-powered icebreakers as escorts. So right at a time where global shipping routes are in more chaos than ever, China and Russia are the only 2 countries able to use the quickest ocean route between East Asia and Northwest Europe. There are drawbacks though. It's unusable during winter currently, and it can be very expensive and dangerous. But considering the other options are increasingly becoming the same, the next few years, it's going to be all eyes on the Arctic.
No way. Something is going on here, guys. Look how different he looks. People are saying that Ariana Grande's eyes are black and so is that other guy's. Look at the side view. Not for nothing, their eyes do look black. Like there's no life in it, allegedly. This is what people are saying. Shut up! Ariana Grande hasn't been the same. And this guy up there looks completely different. Look at him here. He looks full of life. People are saying, and I don't believe this, because people say anything. People are saying that his eyes look like it has a soul in it. Whatever that means. But that's impossible. Guys, please stop saying things like that. This is the same person, and he's perfectly fine. I mean, I hope he is. Shut up! I hope that he is. Because if you look at the side view of Ariana Grande and the other guy, their eyes look pitch black. Allegedly, if you ask me. If you got black eyeballs, it is what it is. I'm just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. I don't know who is be taking these videos, trying to put things together that don't exist. Stop it, cut it out. Ariana Grande is perfectly fine. And so is her homie up there. Let me know what you think. Whatever's going on here, I don't know what's going on here. I'm home. Let me know if you know. I'm out.
Magnets don't work like that. Let's watch.
All right, what we looking at?
Magnetic field that goes all the way around the court and magnets in the ball, so we literally can't miss. Rover's been working on this technology for a while, but we beat him too.
Believe me now?
I think you was right, man. I don't know.
Believe me now?
I don't know. Curry making what, 5 in a row?
Believe me now.
Anne Hathaway is currently the highest grossing actress of 2026. Right, yeah. I wonder why. From Jeffrey Epstein. Can you bring Anne Hathaway to have a coffee with Bill Gates and me? Somebody throwing a party for Love and Other Drugs. Jake Gyllenhaal, Anne Hathaway movie, right? Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal in it and here. Valentino hosting. Guys, what?
There will be a revolution on U.S. soil in my lifetime, for sure, started by the people. I would put so much money to say that this is legit going to happen, man. There are way too many people that are completely fed up with the way everything is going and just the blatant fucking lies and disrespect in our face by a foreign country that we've allowed in the back door. Dude, we have fucking allowed a country called Israel to, like remove from left, right, red, blue, Democrat, Republican, any of it. Remove from all of that shit. We are all in this bitch together, and we all need to start getting on the same page. The only country that benefits from unrest in the Middle East and fucking chaos in the Middle East is Israel. Israel is just bloodthirsty for all the fucking nations over there, including Europe itself. And we have allowed, as the people, for the politicians to get completely fucking bought out, paid for, and then fucking blackmailed so that every decision that they continue to make will be on behalf of Israel and its own interests, while we as the American people cannot afford to buy homes, will not afford to buy homes, can barely afford to, like, every day it gets a little bit tougher and tougher and tougher and tougher. They are not fucking listening to any of the stuff that the American people actually want. Nothing is going to change until we, the people, all collectively decide that instead of, like the whole propaganda machine is getting all of us arguing with each other, as opposed to actually, you know, the people who work at, like, the shipping facilities, people who work at, like, the ports, people who work at, like, the railways, like, these backbones of capitalism working, we stop showing up. And we also start rolling up on some of these Capitol buildings where they make actual fucking decisions, or some of the government buildings being like, yeah, y'all are going to start making decisions on behalf of the people and what we fucking want, or else. Like, get the fuck out. Like, we're not playing this game anymore, but it's like, we all gotta start realizing that it's not black or white, it's not fucking women, man, it's not fucking trans or straight or gay or straight, that's what they want us focused on and pissed at each other, so that behind the scenes they can send all of our fucking hard-earned money to obliterate innocent families in the Middle East. And rope us into it, and then rope us into the fucking conversation in the rest of the world where they hate the U.S. and they think we stand for that shit. Voting ain't gonna fucking change it, dude. Like, we legitimately need it. I don't care if I gotta do typewriters or what, dude. But this shit's we're gonna start rolling up on some of these buildings.
The word racism has lost all power and meaning in the West. I want you to listen to the words of the people that are claiming racism.
Asks, when is it okay to kill whites? New York professor says having a white nuclear family promotes white supremacy. Professor tweets that white people should commit mass suicide. College professor says kill cops, kill all white people, and kill the straights. Professor says all I want for Christmas is white genocide. Georgetown professor says all white people are racist. Trinity College professor calls white people inhuman. Let them fucking die. College professor says believing in hard work is a white ideology. College professor says white people are conditioned to commit mass murder. A professor equates math with white privilege. A professor says white supremacist patriarchy is responsible for the Vegas shooting. Professors hold a white racism course at FGCU. USC professor calls for a Holocaust against all white people. Professor says I'll teach my children to be cautious and distrust friendship. College professor says some white people may have to die to solve racism. College professor says white masculinity is a problem for America. Georgetown.
And white Americans will soon be a minority, and that's great.
You know, whites will not be the majority. I mean, it's an exciting transformation of the country.
Abolish whiteness is to abolish white people.
White people are committed to being villains in the aggregate, right?
We gotta take these motherfuckers out.
We have to kill white people. When do we start killing white people?
We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this.
AI took over the world hundreds of years ago. Your history is all AI. Photoshop has been around for hundreds of years, through various means. Photos themselves are much older than we are told. At least 200 years. And I don't believe the first Photoshop is in 1857 like they say. The Mona Lisa was printed. It wasn't painted. Renaissance paintings like the Mona Lisa were made with 2-micron paint. 30 to 50 microns is the average today. It was perfectly layered and couldn't be replicated today. Yet we're supposed to believe that Da Vinci made it with mortar and pestle paints. Nothing today can be compared to what was being made in 1434 by Jan van Eyck. The reflection in the background is perfectly displaying the reversed image. No one can replicate this level of detail. This is a print, a laser print. Photoshop was also done through etching. We have all been getting catfished. How much of the history has been etched away? These are the original filters. Cartoon filter, whitewash filter, sepia, grayscale. Supposedly there were no Civil War photos in battle, but plenty right before. And it doesn't stop with people. Looks like a lively city block, huh? Those people are painted in. This is in the New York Public Library. You can see they're painted in if you look closely. That horse was never there. You can see they removed people from this one. Their legs are still there. I'm sure many of you know about the Vanilla Sky photos. What a terrible crop job there. They edit out the skies and remove buildings. The sky is commonly cropped out poorly. This whole building is superimposed onto this block. Yet they have been able to solve overexposure in the skies since 1867 with the collodion process. Oops, actually 1857. Yet we get vanilla skies even into the 20th century. Maybe this is why. Even in film we have layering. Half the people aren't even paying attention to this. History is worse than chicks with BBLs and filters. And don't get me started on the sculptures. I've actually been to this place too. The name of this piece is called Deception. It's made out of a block of marble. It's a fishnet made out of a block of marble, and he made it in secrecy. More laser technology that the mutants took over after the reset. That slightly raised pinky causing that muscle flex being captured perfectly like that. The Renaissance was a reset. None of these artists existed. The technology was usurped and used to whitewash the history. And there was a hard reset between 1776 and the Civil War. AI is the opposite of Yah. It's really AI. AI has existed since ever. It is a program that is being uploaded through organic AI, aka human programs.
My beef with Fauci. Fauci killed my daughter. My daughter was 23 years old when she was mandated to take 2 COVID-19 vaccinations. We now know they're not vaccinations, they're gene therapies, and they were trial, not tested, not safe, not effective, and they were an experiment on a girl who had no risk of dying from COVID. Yet immediately after her second vaccination, she was that ill she couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. She continued to feel sicker with shortness of breath symptoms and general feeling crook. 49 days after her second vaccination, she passed away suddenly and unexpectedly at her workplace and wasn't helped. She was ignored. She was left for at least an hour, dead, alone. She would have been terrified. She did not deserve that. So Fauci and all these other cronies robbed my daughter of at least 75 years of just to be able to try and live a good, productive life. Gone. So what's the point? What's the point of having kids, raising them up, doing as you're told by the government, safe and effective, do your bit for the community, get vaccinated, and then once it harms you or kills you, there is no responsibility. There is nothing. There is no acknowledgement. There is no sorry. There is just lies and silence. So, that's my beef with Fauci.
After seeing this video, you may never well buy Crocs again. You see, these Crocs are full of toxic chemicals that are recycled from plastics that were once consumed, full of dyes, BPAs, phenols, all sorts of hidden nasty ingredients. See, those toxins and those plastics leach into you, so even if you as an adult wore that, I mean, just look at the state of that. If you wore Crocs prior to children, then those toxins ultimately end up in the baby. It's disgusting what goes on in the world. And, you know, something that we never wore Crocs. And for good reason, because they just didn't feel right. I mean, just look at the state of it. The dyes, the colors, the chemicals in the manufacturing process, they all leach into the skin. We all know how quick and fast toxins end up in the body, but think twice before you buy Crocs for your children, because it's another way children are exposed to toxins.
Reason number 77, we're living in a simulation. What if I told you the whole Charlie Kirk tragedy already happened exactly 27 years ago? This is gonna f*** your mind. So there's a movie from 1998 called Snake Eyes, starring Nicolas Cage, in which a political figure named Charles Kirkland, that's his actual name in the movie, gets by a sniper in the neck in the exact same spot as Charlie Kirk at a public event. Now, in the opening scene of the movie, there's a sign for this event that shows us it also took place on September 10th, the same day it happened, during a boxing event headlined by a boxer named Tyler the Executioner. Tyler Robinson is being accused of committing the execution in real life. During the scene, Cage is heard asking about his lucky number, while we see someone holding up a giant 7. Recently, Elon Musk announced that every spacecraft launched in 2026 will bear the number 77 as a tribute to Charlie Kirk. Why 77? I don't know, maybe someone can tell me. If it wasn't obvious enough, there's also this massive all-seeing eye on a blimp or something watching the entire sequence of events go down. That's because the movie is called Snake Eyes, and 2025 also happens to be the year of the snake. Promotional posters for the film feature the tagline, "Believe everything except your eyes." Oh, and it was also filmed in the Trump Hotel in Atlantic City. Believe everything except your eyes. I don't even know how else anyone could possibly explain this. Simulation confirmed.
You can't even make this stuff up. Catholic Bible Association, new president is this woman.
So I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Messianic Jew. I do not worship Jesus as Lord and Savior. And for me, the New Testament is not sacred scripture.
She doesn't believe that Jesus is the Messiah and doesn't believe our Bible is sacred scriptures. But she is going to be in charge of coordinating interpretations? Clearly subversion. She's only in it to push J propaganda. I mean, come on. She even wants rainbow flags inside of churches, but yet she's a member of an Orthodox synagogue and does not want that same stuff in her synagogue. And why not? I mean, come on. Muslims don't put up with this. They don't have another religion in charge of their religion. They don't allow it, neither should we. This is getting absurd, and where to complain to is going to be in the comments section. Send them your emails and share this video.
The Free Press, run by Barry Weiss, financed by others, of course, just put out a video defending flock cameras. I'm just going to read you the description in the headline. Ever feel like you're being watched? You might be right, but flock safety cameras aren't interested in you unless you're a kidnapper, a thief, or up to no good. And it's like literally Soviet propaganda. You know, if you got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. As long as your, soul is right with the party, don't worry about the panopticon. So this is obviously disgusting. It's anti-American, it's totalitarian, but it's also not that surprising coming from the neocon oracle known as the Free Press.
And this is breaking right now. A 7.7 magnitude earthquake just struck Indonesia. And a lot of the footage that is coming out of Indonesia looks like it's straight out of a movie. Have a look at some of these devastating videos for yourself. In this video right here, you can see buildings are completely collapsing as the earth is shaking. And in this video, you can hear the panic in this woman's voice. Take a look at the water in that pool. And as expected, a tsunami warning has been issued for Indonesia. Just take a look at those waves coming on shore after that 7.7 earthquake. And as of this time, there are no reports of any casualties or anything, but the one thing we can do is pray for these individuals in Indonesia. Another massive earthquake. A week ago, we had one in Colombia, and now a 7.7 earthquake struck off the coast of Indonesia. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Humpty Dumpty was not an egg. Humpty Dumpty, the nursery rhyme. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But Humpty Dumpty was never an egg. It was never said that he was an egg in the original nursery rhyme. And actually, historians believe that Humpty Dumpty was a cannon from the English Civil War in 1648. They had a cannon, and it was named Humpty Dumpty, and it got hit with a cannonball, and it broke, and they could not put it back together again. That is what the original nursery rhyme was about, was an actual cannon. It was never depicted as an egg at all in the original nursery rhyme. So this whole time, when you've been learning about Humpty Dumpty, we were talking about a cannon and not an egg. Now, obviously, it was better for children to learn about an egg than a cannon, but it was just, in this timeline, it was never originally an egg. Never. It was a cannon from 1648.
Police in Georgia asked the public to help identify a man who cut down 2 flock surveillance cameras and fled in a gray Chevy Volt on July 20th around 11:15 p.m. Instead, nearly 5,000 people came forward with alibis. One commenter wrote, quote, "Brother, that man was delivering food to the elderly that night." Another claimed, quote, "That's my friend. He was mowing my grandma's lawn at 11:15 p.m. on July 20th. And a third insisted the suspect, quote, "was at my house for a barbecue that night. Couldn't have been him." After thousands of alibis flooded in, police canceled the alert, saying the suspects have been identified, but no information has been released on who they are or if they were arrested.
What's that? Oh, Taylor Farms is popping up in the news lately for some pretty strange reasons. Tell me more! This is getting wild out here because Taylor Farms is popping up on many different websites and news sites about them and how they are getting their employees, meaning they are having inmates as their employees working for $1.25 per hour, all while they are getting paid $4.25 per hour per inmate. And so this is getting a little bit dicey because what people are saying doesn't mean it's true, but what people are saying and what the gist that people are getting from this is that there's an incentive, if you will, to have people put in jail. Now, of course, I don't know if this is true, but this seems to be kind of the consensus that people are coming up with about this whole wild and interesting and bit scary situation, if you will. Okay.
Can you tell me what frazzle drip is, Phil?
Yeah.
Third Eye TV.
Frazzle Drip is a video that was on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder on his desktop titled Insurance. And the laptop in question was taken during an investigation into Anthony Weiner. And the video in question, Frazzle Drip, was in that folder. And video depicts a woman who is the same height, build, haircut, facial features, and attire as Hillary Clinton. And there is a second woman who fits the same description to Huma Aberdeen, which was Anthony Weiner's wife. And in the video, which looks like the basement of Comet Pizza in Washington, D.C., it shows both of the females in the video laying different children on top of ping pong tables, which are in the basement, molesting those children, frightening those children with weapons, and then drinking something, which would line up with the theory that it is the blood of those children for purposes of extracting adrenochrome.
if you remember the creepy clowns from 2016.
Yeah, bro. I remember those.
Dude, they are actually trying to make a comeback.
Again?
Because recently, one of them murdered somebody.
Swear.
Bro, the footage of this is scary as hell. There is some doorbell cam footage that came out recently. Mike, this looks straight out of a horror movie.
Really?
This is insane. So this actually happened a couple of weeks ago. And it happened in East St. Louis in Illinois. So the 78-year-old man named John Wesley Allen, he was waiting at a bus stop one night. And his plan was to get on the bus so he can go visit his younger sister. This man is sitting there by himself at the bus stop. And randomly, this person comes up to him, dressed up as a clown, doesn't say a word to him, starts stabbing him to death.
Really?
At this bus stop. Doesn't even know this guy. So this guy is bleeding out on the street. Somebody who was in the area saw what happened and immediately alerted the police. An hour before the police come, though, there is footage from people's doorbell cams showing this person going from door to door and even looking through their windows, holding this huge ass knife, and basically is saying a bunch of like creepy stuff like, I can see you. The guy was not able to get into anybody's house. So he eventually just books it and tries to hide from the police while they're trying to do all this investigating. The witnesses said all they knew was the person who killed him was dressed like a clown. Someone who got a glimpse of the person after the murder, seeing them like run off, they were able to identify who this person was and got a pretty good look at them.
Really?
Yes. It turned out to be a 15-year-old boy.
Wow.
That did this killing for some random reason. Yes, so...
The 15-year-old boy caught on camera going from house to house in East St. Louis dressed as a clown is facing murder charges.
This next video comes from the straight out of the You Learn Something New Every Day files. And why do I say that? Because a woman posted a video to social media claiming that everyone needs to accept the fact that she is a trans black woman. And she also claims that she's not going to have any types of procedures to change the color of her skin anytime soon. So have a listen to her video for yourself.
Transracial black women like myself have a more beautiful understanding of blackness than cisracial black women. And that's what I want to talk about today, especially because of all the propaganda nowadays telling black women to hate themselves. Someone that chooses to present as a black woman every single day, that's incredibly beautiful. One of the most common questions I've been asked is, are you planning on getting any medical procedures to help affirm your transracial identity, like melanin replacement therapy, things like that? And the answer is no. Trans black women are black women, regardless of what our bodies look like. I don't need to change my skin color or my hair or my makeup or any other physical characteristics to prove to you that I am black. Saying that I need to pass as black is actually trans race phobia. It is TERF rhetoric, transracial exclusionary feminism. One second. Oh, and by the way, free Palestine. My Starbucks identifies as Duncan. Inshallah. Shabbat Shalom. all that good stuff. So I do want to educate everyone on what it means to be a black woman trapped inside a white woman's body, trapped inside an Asian woman's body, which is what I personally am, which means I am both trans Asian and trans black. Transracial identities are valid. My pronouns, which are currently ni hao, are valid. All identities are valid. So if you are here to actually listen and learn, you can stay. But do not call me white.
So now you've listened, as she said, and did you learn anything? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to.
Everyone knows the Bermuda Triangle, but almost directly across the planet lies another stretch of ocean with an eerily similar reputation, sitting off the coast of Japan. Ships have been lost here. Islands literally appear and disappear. Underwater volcanoes erupt without warning, and according to the legends, those aren't even the strangest things beneath these waters. This is the Devil's Sea, also known as the Dragon's Triangle. But unlike the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Sea doesn't have an agreed-upon boundary, but is generally placed in the Pacific south of Japan, extending through the waters surrounding the Izu Islands. And before we even get into anything paranormal, this place is genuinely strange. Far beneath the surface is one of the most geologically active regions of the Pacific. Earthquakes shake the seafloor, underwater volcanoes erupt without warning, and entire volcanic formations rise from the depths. And sometimes, new islands literally appear out of the ocean. An underwater eruption can pile enough volcanic material above sea level to create an island where just days earlier there was nothing but open water. And eventually, waves can tear down that same island until it disappears beneath the Pacific again. In 1952, one of these eruptions would lead to a very real tragedy. A submarine volcano known as Myojin-sho erupted south of Tokyo, creating new volcanic land above the water. Japan sent a government research vessel carrying scientists and a crew to investigate. The ship never returned, and all 31 people aboard were lost. And that incident would eventually become one of the most important stories behind the legend of the Devil's Sea. But the mysteries surrounding these waters go much deeper than one disaster. Across the Izu Islands, local communities develop their own stories about dangerous and supernatural things encountered at sea. On Kozushima, for example, traditions tell of Funa-yurei, spirits of people who died at sea that could appear before sailors and threaten passing boats. Other traditions throughout the Izu region describe ghostly ships, mysterious lights over the water, and the spirits of those lost at sea returning to the waters around the island, showing that the people living and sailing through these islands were telling stories about strange things in these waters long before the modern Devil's Sea's legend ever existed. And as the modern legend grew, the stories became measured. Compasses behaving strangely, mysterious fog, unidentified lights appearing over the Pacific, and reports of luminous objects supposedly moving beneath the water. Eventually, researchers began comparing this region to the Bermuda Triangle and asking important questions. What if these places aren't isolated? What if certain locations around the planet are somehow more prone to unexplained phenomena than others? Because beneath the legends of the Dragon's Triangle are real anomalies. And over this series, we're going to investigate that, starting with the Japanese research vessel that sailed out to investigate a newly formed island and never came home.
You're a headbutt a cunt, I don't give a fuck. Boy or girl, I will headbutt you.
It's all joking. It's all love. It's all love. It's all love. That's joking, bro. It's only kidding, bro. It's all love, fam. That's only kidding.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Nah, Leo, you can't allow that. Freddie just smacked him, man.
Split it up, Leo. Tell him not to fight.
Nah, don't hit him, Freddie.
Why
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Right?
Tell him.
Freddie, you kill him. You just hit me, bro. Freddie, don't you kill him. You have just hit me, bro. You just hit me, bro. What? Why did you hit me, bro? Why did you hit me, bro? Freddie, kill him.
Oh!
This is how I know that they rigged the goddamn elections. Because if you paid attention to the presidential campaign, that first campaign was "We the silent majority." People try to act like minorities don't exist in this country. What they do, the majority is of a certain skin tone, yes. So you see a guy lose an election and then win the next one by a landslide, then you see different congressional reps try to press charges against Obama for helping Russia rig the election and all of this. There's a civil war going on in our government behind the scenes, and all of this is playing a role in it, for sure.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I hate all the political stuff, trying to put political opponents in jail, bro. No, I'm not for it. I don't like either side doing it.
Nope.
I don't think it's American at all.
Not at all, bro. And we're starting to praise criminality on the upper echelon of society level when the people who are passing bills are criminals. Look at the whole insider trading thing. Like, it's illegal.
Scientists have found a living fungus in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant where they had that major accident decades ago. And that fungus keeps getting bigger and bigger because it feeds off of radiation. Now, does this remind you of anything? Like this, The Last of Us, that HBO series? Based on the video game of the same name, where people get infected. Yeah, they get infected by a fungus and turn into these half people, half fungus monster things that try to eat you. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that Chernobyl story. So this fungus in Chernobyl, which is basically a big nuclear waste site, has grown, and they can't stop it from growing. They can't kill this thing. Is escape part of its plan? I don't know, but I sure don't want to find out. So, is art imitating life? Or is life imitating art? Either way, I don't want anything to do with a giant living fungus that's radioactive, baby cakes. Till next time, Shabadoo Booshkies, Shabadoo.